What's up, YouTube? This is Too Raw for TV. All right. So shout out to Ticket TV and the panel. I was on there as well. We were talking about Luka Doncic, man. And you got some people who say that Luka Doncic is the face of the NBA, which is not true. All right. Luka is one of the rising stars, but he is not the face of the NBA. All right. He's just not. And look, I used to be a little harder on Luka. I kind of pulled back because I had to be fair, man. It was still just the guy's second year at the time, his third year. So I held back, okay? I held back. And if this year, if the Dallas Mavericks go on some, unlikely run toward the finals, win a championship, or even go to the Western Conference Finals, then you will hear a lot of Luka praise from me. But generally speaking, man, I give these guys about 4 years. Okay, nowadays I give them about 4 years, and I'll tell you why I give them about 4 years. When you look at the great players of the past, it was around that fifth season when their expectations began to rise from critics when they hadn't gotten it done yet. Those who hadn't gotten it done yet, because look, Wilt got in the NBA what 1959, right? So his fifth season would have been 1963-64. That was around the time people started saying, well, man, you're this great individual player, but you haven't won yet. And you keep losing to the Boston Celtics. Jerry West, Oscar Robertson, their fifth year was around 1964-65. Jerry West was putting up 46.5 points per game against the then Baltimore Bullets in the Western Division Finals at the time. That's when Baltimore was in the Western Conference. And, you know, you had all of these other great individual performances by Oscar and them, but they weren't winning. And the pressure was mounting for them to win. See, Bird and Magic, they started winning championships early in their career. Magic when he was a rookie, Larry his sophomore year. Kareem won a championship his second his second year in the NBA, he won a championship. Dr. J, remember, while Dr. J was a legend in the ABA, winning multiple championships, he came over into the NBA in 1976, right? So the fifth year rule will be what, 1980, 81? That year, Dr. J won MVP. And guess what happened that year, if my memory serves me correctly? That year, Philly blew a 3-1 lead to Boston in the Eastern Conference Finals. And then people start saying, hey man, this ain't the ABA. Why can't you win a championship? You blew a 2-0 lead to Portland in 1977. You let Magic Johnson dominate Game 6 and steal the title that could have been yours in Game 7 in 80. And then you blew a 3-1 lead here. Then the next year, they lose again. So it wasn't until 83 that they finally won a title. The pressure was on the goes. Mike, his fifth year, 88, 89. People like, hey man, you're putting up all these great points and all these great numbers, but you're not winning. Why you keep losing to Bird and especially the Detroit Pistons? Shaq, the same thing. You know what I'm saying? But at least Shaq was able to go to a finals by 95, his third year. At least LeBron James, who did start getting that pressure around that fourth or fifth year, but at least he did go to a finals his fourth year. So that's why I have this 4-year rule, because historically it makes good sense. So this is the last year that I'm giving Luka Doncic a pass. This is it. Because after this year, if they don't get past the first round, especially the first round, I'm on his ass because you can't have certain expectations for certain players, y'all, and then other players that get passes. Giannis, who didn't come in immediately, dominating the league like Luka was, around what, his fifth year, people start having expectations about Giannis and, be able to lead. He had the potential to lead the team to a championship. You can't get past the wall, yada, 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 and all that. But ultimately, he won a championship. But he got criticized for it, especially for his decision not to go and help another player win a title. So, yeah, Luka, if he don't get it done this year, if they lose in the first round, yes, I'm going to become a huge Luka fucking critic. I don't want to hear no shit about he just his fifth year. I want to hear that shit. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. Because if people out here talking about he's the face of the NBA, tell me one time we had a player that's a loser, a perennial loser, be the face of the fucking league. And I'm not saying he's not individually great, but we never had a guy who's a fucking constant loser be the fucking face of the NBA. Pete Maravich was infinitely skilled and popular and all of that stuff, but the guy only played in 26 playoff games. Never got the first round. Great player. Trace McGrady, the same thing. But there's a total separation between them and the all-time great players. And for Luka to be seen as one of those all-time greats, he has to start winning when it matters. The regular season to me is like this. The regular season makes all-stars, but the playoffs makes legends. And if Luka wants to be a legend, he got to start getting it done in the playoffs. And I'm not saying having a great series and putting up big numbers and all of this shit. It has to translate into some type of step-by-step process of advancement, not just stagnant domination. Oh, I'm putting up big numbers in the first round, but we keep losing, 4 games to 2. No, that's not good enough. And also, to me, to be an all-time great player, got to play on both sides of the court, man. You know, you wonder why a lot of these guys have so much energy offensively, and why they're able to put so many points and all these triple doubles. Well, it's easy. It's easier. I can say it's easy. It's easier to do that when you're not playing defense and you're not expending energy on defense. Because look, playing defense is tiresome. It's tiresome. But all the greats did it. Larry Bird, who people compare Luka to, Larry Bird wasn't a great one-on-one defender, but he played defense. And he became a great, great help defender. But Bird played on both sides of the court. So I'm just saying, that's it. This is Luka's last year of getting the pass from me.